Have you ever wondered why some people, even after doing harm to others, seem to go on with their lives as if nothing happened? Often the cruelest attacks are made against those who have a special mission in the world. Sensitive people with a unique energy and a greater purpose, the spiritually chosen ones, become targets for those who still do not understand the power of the light they carry. But there is something that many do not know. Divine justice never fails, and those who hurt the chosen do not go unpunished. The law of return is an invisible force that acts silently, but with unbeatable precision. It reminds us that everything we do, whether good or bad, comes back to us at the right time. And for those with a divine mission, like the chosen ones, the return is even more powerful. It is not revenge, but balance. The universe has its ways of correcting the distortions created by impure actions. When someone tries to destroy the chosen one, whether out of envy, ego, or malice, they are tampering with something much greater than they can imagine. The truth is that no one can hurt the chosen without consequences. No matter how much someone tries to silence or discredit these souls, the spiritual force that protects them is unbeatable. The chosen may not need to do anything because justice begins to manifest in subtle but extremely effective ways. The life of someone who chooses to attack a chosen one begins to crumble, often without the aggressor understanding why. Relationships, health, and prosperity can disappear, and this is not a punishment, but the correction of an energy that has been distorted. It is important to understand that the chosen should not seek revenge. True strength lies in patience, forgiveness, and trust that at the right time, divine justice will take care of everything. The law of return works, and each step of the chosen is guided and protected by spiritual forces that work silently without the world seeing. And when this divine justice manifests, it is not just simple retribution. It is a complete turnaround that strengthens and elevates even more the one who has a purpose. So if you feel that you are a chosen one, or that you have been attacked in some way, know that you are not alone. The force that protects you is greater than any adversary. If you wish to understand more about this divine protection and how it operates in your life, follow our channel and stay informed about how the law of return can transform your spiritual journey. When someone does something wrong, especially against a chosen one, the energy generated by that action does not get lost. Everything we do, whether in words, actions, or thoughts, creates a vibration, a kind of energetic charge that is recorded in the universe. This does not dissolve or disappear over time. The energy of an action, whether good or bad, will return to the one who generated it. This law is not about revenge, but about a simple cosmic balance. It is important to understand that the universe has its own ways of correcting mistakes. There is no need for someone to worry about human justice, about what other people think or do, because true correction comes from forces that are not visible to our eyes. When a chosen one is attacked, the aggressor may think they have escaped their actions without consequences, but what they do not see is that the energy of evil they sent to the other is already in motion. Like a wave that starts small but expands, this energy returns. The universe works in silence, often invisibly, but the reaction happens. No matter how much the person tries to hide their intentions or actions, what is done in the shadows, what is planned to harm or deceive, will one day be exposed. Evil cannot hide forever. Even when it seems that things are quiet and that the chosen one is being hurt with nothing happening, what was sown in darkness becomes visible over time. It is as if the truth has its own time to reveal itself, and at the right moment, the energy that was sent negatively transforms and returns to the aggressor. The law of return is not in a hurry, but it is relentless. It does not depend on the speed of human reaction. It does not matter if you see or feel that justice is happening. The wave of energy created by the action of evil grows over time, and the person who tried to destroy or attack a chosen one will see, in one way or another, the response from the universe. Each negative action is like a seed that, when planted, begins to sprout and bear fruit, and these fruits are not sweet. What was done with intentions of causing pain or harming someone returns as a reflection of the actions themselves. This return, however, is not something we should view as a form of revenge. The idea is not to see the malevolent suffer in the same way they made the chosen one suffer. The true mission of return is to restore balance, to correct what has been distorted. The universe, with its infinite wisdom, knows the right moment to make this correction. And the best part, the chosen one does not need to worry about what happened or what someone did to them. The spiritual force that protects them is already doing the work. The important thing is that the person who attacked will have no way to escape this wave of energy. At some point, silently, divine justice makes its presence known. It may come through a loss, a broken relationship, a door closing, or even an internal feeling of anguish and regret that arises unexpectedly. Everything that was sent to another will return, and this return can be more impactful than the very act of attack, as it is guided by forces much greater than human understanding. Therefore, the chosen ones can be sure that justice does not fail. They do not need to raise a hand against those who attack them. The universe, with its immense wisdom, will take care of bringing to light what has been done, correcting the imbalance created. By maintaining inner peace and trusting in divine power, the chosen one sees that, over time, everything that was planted in the dark will one day come to light. The chosen ones are special souls who have a unique mission in the world. They carry within them a vibrant light that goes beyond what the eyes can see. This light is not only visible to those around them, but it is something that radiates spiritually, touching everything and everyone with whom they come into contact. People with a deep connection to the divine forces, the chosen ones, have heightened sensitivity, a perception beyond the ordinary, and an understanding that comes from a higher plane. Their mission may be grand, such as helping others awaken to their true essence, or it may be something more personal, like serving as an example of resilience or faith. However, this light that the chosen ones emit, while being their greatest strength, also becomes the reason they become targets. Imagine that darkness, selfishness, and negative forces in others cannot ignore someone who shines with such an intense light. Those who are spiritually asleep, meaning people who have not yet awakened to their true nature, end up being impacted by this light in a negative way. They may feel envy, fear, or even hostility towards those who carry such a powerful glow. For these individuals, the spiritual brightness of the chosen ones is uncomfortable and often threatens the way they see the world. The attacks that the chosen ones suffer do not come only from conscious malice, but also from people who simply cannot cope with the light that emanates from them. Often, these attacks arise from an instinctive reaction of those still living in a state of darkness, of spiritual ignorance. Envy is one of the first emotions to arise, as the glow of a chosen one reveals a lack of something in the lives of these people. They feel threatened by something they do not understand, and not knowing how to react, they end up projecting their fears and insecurities onto the chosen ones. In addition to envy, resistance is also a common reaction. Many people, when confronted with something that challenges their beliefs or worldview, react with resistance. This is a reflection of the fear of change, of the discomfort caused by the new. When a chosen one enters someone's field, that person feels the discomfort of the possibility that their way of life may need to be altered. This creates a reaction of closing off where, instead of welcoming the light, people try to reject it. And this is where the attacks intensify. When someone feels bothered, whether by envy, fear, or resistance, that negative energy ends up being directed towards the chosen one. The attacks may come disguised as gossip, criticism, manipulation, or even situations that try to undermine the confidence of the chosen one. What these people do not know, however, is that their own spiritual ignorance places them on a path where they end up being the first to suffer the consequences of their actions. The chosen one, on the other hand, carries the mission of learning to deal with these situations. Their light is not something to be hidden or extinguished to please others. Their journey is precisely to awaken those who are still asleep to the truth, without forcing or imposing. The attack, however, is not something the chosen one needs to fear. Spiritual and divine protection is always present, ensuring that, even in the face of the greatest challenges, the mission of the chosen one remains firm and strong. It is important to remember that the chosen one is not alone. Although the attacks may be intense, they also serve as a reminder that the light they carry is capable of awakening those around them. The chosen one is often a catalyst for change, and by living their truth, they not only transform their own life, but also the lives of those who are ready to awaken. These attacks ultimately are just signs that the glow of the chosen one is touching more hearts than they imagine. Attacking a chosen one spiritually is not an action that goes unpunished. Even if those who have caused harm do not realize it immediately, the consequences of this attitude begin to manifest in an invisible but relentless manner. Those who attack a chosen one, whether out of envy, anger, or any other negative emotion, often do not understand that the energy they generate by doing harm to someone protected begins to turn against themselves. These consequences are not a punishment, but rather a spiritual correction, a natural process of the universe to restore balance. The law of return, or divine justice, operates quietly but very effectively. Often, the people who attack the chosen ones do not immediately perceive the consequences of their actions. However, over time, they begin to notice that their lives are starting to crumble in ways they cannot explain. Relationships that once seemed stable begin to fall apart. Conflicts arise where there was once harmony, and friendships dissolve without a clear reason. For these people, everything seems to be out of control, and they cannot understand why this is happening. What they do not know is that the universe is simply correcting the imbalance they caused. Furthermore, the health of these individuals often begins to weaken. The stress, anxiety, and negative feelings caused by the action against a chosen one can affect the body in ways that are not visible at first glance. Illnesses begin to surface, vital energy is depleted, and the sense of well-being disappears. The wrongdoing is not reciprocated immediately, but over time, the impact of negativity returns, affecting all areas of the life of the person who caused the harm. Not only are relationships and health affected, but even the paths of life begin to close. The chosen one, in turn, does not need to worry about doing anything. They do not need to seek revenge or take any kind of action against the person who attacked them. The law of return, which is governed by spiritual justice, works on its own. The chosen one can continue their journey in peace, without getting involved in the troubles of those who attacked them, knowing that the universe will take care of the necessary corrections. The truth is that by attacking someone who is under divine protection, the aggressor ends up creating negative karma for themselves. This karma will not be resolved with time until the person understands the lesson and learns to change their ways. This does not mean that the consequences will happen immediately, or that the person will recognize the mistake right away. But eventually the weight of their actions will reflect in their own life, whether through losses, difficulties, or even internal crises. What is important for the Chosen One is to understand that they do not need to worry about retaliating or seeking justice. The energy of evil generated by the other will be corrected naturally. The Chosen One can trust the divine process and continue their journey, knowing that their mission is greater than any attack or obstacle that may arise in their path. The law of return is infallible, and the consequences of attacking a Chosen One never fail. Even when a person does not see or understand, spiritual justice is present, restoring balance and ensuring that evil does not perpetuate. When the law of return begins to act, the signs become clear to those who are attentive. For those who tried to harm a Chosen One, things start to change in unexpected ways. Situations that once seemed secure, such as relationships, careers, or even health, begin to destabilize. It is as if suddenly, what was once under control now becomes out of control. What seemed solid starts to crumble, and there is no logical explanation for this. The person who attacked the Chosen One may find themselves facing financial difficulties, misunderstandings with friends or family, or even personal crises. These events are a reflection that the negative energy sent to the Chosen One is already returning. At the same time, the Chosen One, who often does not see or know what is happening on the side of their attacker, feels an internal sense of calm. They may sense, even without fully understanding, that something has changed within themselves and around them. The Chosen One feels an inexplicable peace, a lightness in their heart, as if they are being supported by a greater force. It is an intuitive feeling that spiritual justice is underway, even if the process is not yet visible. The chosen person experiences this change in a profound way, as if balance is beginning to be restored, as if something is being put back in its rightful place. This feeling of tranquility is a clear sign that the Chosen One is being protected. They do not need to do anything for justice to manifest. On the contrary, they often feel that by staying centered and at peace, they are allowing the universe to take care of the situation naturally. There is no need to fight or seek revenge. The very energy of the universe is already working to correct what has been done against the Chosen One. The divine force acts silently but powerfully, and the Chosen One is merely an observer of the correction process that is underway. Meanwhile, for those who attempted to do harm, changes begin to occur in ways that they often cannot even understand. They may feel lost, as if their destiny is becoming increasingly unpredictable and difficult to control. What once seemed right and secure is now crumbling, and there is no longer any way to escape this reality. The return of their actions begins to manifest intensely, affecting all areas of their life. For the Chosen One, this is confirmation that divine justice is at work. They do not need to worry about what happens to those who attacked them, as the energy that was sent against them is returning to its creator. This feeling of internal peace is the assurance that, even without realizing it, the Chosen One is being guided and protected. It is as if they are enveloped by a greater force that cares for their journey and ensures that balance will be restored. The temptation to seek revenge is natural when we are hurt or attacked. When someone harms us, the first reaction can be to want to pay them back in kind, seeking justice with our own hands. However, for the Chosen One, this is not the correct response. True strength lies not in retaliating, but in trusting. Trusting that, by following the path of peace, divine justice will take care of everything. When the Chosen One entrusts themselves to God and chooses not to seek revenge, they are allowing the universe to correct what has been distorted in a way that is much more powerful than any human action could achieve. The Chosen One has the mission to be an example of resilience and faith. They are guided by a greater force that protects and guides them. When the Chosen One chooses to forgive, they are freeing themselves from the prison of resentment. Forgiveness does not mean that the person who caused the harm will be exempt from consequences, but rather that the chosen one is choosing not to carry the burden of hatred, allowing divine justice to take its course. This act of forgiveness is, in fact, an act of courage and strength. By releasing the other from their action, the chosen one frees themselves from all the negative energy that the attack could have generated in their life. Divine justice is not something that occurs in the heat of the moment. It manifests in due time, silently and invincibly. When the chosen one opts not to seek revenge, they further strengthen the process of spiritual correction. Anger and the desire for retribution consume energy and create more imbalance. But when the chosen one forgives, they make room for the energy of the universe to align in their favor. They are entrusting the situation into God's hands, allowing the correction to happen perfectly without needing to get directly involved. Furthermore, forgiveness brings a sense of peace that goes far beyond any possible revenge. The chosen one feels a lightness in their heart, as if the emotional burden has been lifted from their shoulders. This creates an internal space of calm, where they can continue their journey without being disturbed by the actions of those who tried to destroy them. Forgiveness not only protects the chosen one, but also makes them spiritually stronger. They become immune to emotional attacks, as they understand that true strength lies in trusting in something greater. When the chosen one forgives, they are not only releasing the other, but also releasing themselves. They free themselves from the pain of the past, from the chains of anger, and make space for divine justice to work even more intensely. The law of return becomes more powerful, as when the chosen one chooses the path of peace, they strengthen their own spiritual vibration and ensure that in the end, justice will be done perfectly, without needing human intervention. Forgiveness, in its essence, is true liberation. There comes a moment when the energy that was directed against you begins to work in your favor. The attacks, the criticisms, the attempts to bring you down, everything that seemed to have the power to destroy you, actually serves as a catalyst for your growth. They are the spark that ignites the flame of your ascension. Instead of weakening you, the challenges start to reveal your inner strength, activating gifts and abilities that you may not have even known you possessed. What was meant to break you actually strengthens you. Each attack transforms into an opportunity for evolution. When you do not let yourself be shaken, when you keep your focus on your purpose and do not allow hatred or anger to dominate you, you begin to realize that these difficult moments were actually preparing you for something much greater. They forged you, made you more resilient, and more aligned with your true mission. You start to see everything from a new perspective, as if each obstacle were a key piece to take you to the next level. You now realize that deep down, the attacks were not personal. They were merely a part of the divine process, a way to shape your soul for the greater purpose you have in life. And as you move forward, those same attacks, instead of bringing you down, serve as fuel for your spiritual awakening. You become more confident, clearer in your mission, and more prepared for what is to come. The truth, in the end, always reveals itself. The lies, the slanders, and the attacks made to stop you have no power over who you really are. Those who tried to interfere with your mission will realize, sooner or later, that they were tampering with something much greater than they imagined. To touch a chosen one is to mess with the forces of heaven, and that never goes unanswered. The law of return is not a threat. It is a promise. Spiritual justice always manifests one way or another, and no one is above it. As you walk toward your purpose, remember that you are not alone. You are guided, protected, and empowered by a force much greater than any adversary. No matter how difficult the challenges may be, you have within you the capacity to overcome them. because divine justice always works in your favor. Trust the process, have faith, and continue your journey with the assurance that the final word does not belong to those who tried to stop you.